Why didn't I just do that? It's fine. We're doing great. Wait for it. And it actually started without me pushing the button. How do I make it do that all the time? All right. Everyone who's here, you're here. We're starting. I don't like wasting time. That's not true. We'll do the intro. Then we'll see if someone else is here. Whoa. I caught it just at the right time. Welcome.
Welcome. I welcome you to your own show.
Exactly. I do that all the time. Whenever I meet someone again, I'm like, welcome back. It really confuses people, and if I can do one thing in my life is get someone to laugh to make me a little less uncomfortable.
Hey, that's not the worst goal.
No, it's a thing. Wait. We're doing a new... I've started doing this thing, and I don't know how it started. It's probably because I have this funny thing I can play with now. And Zenboot, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's for you. Sugar Kitty, welcome. Thank you for being here. There we go. You get one? You want one too? Yeah, this is for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good noise, and I was like, I'm going to use this.
Yeah. Okay, isn't it funny, though, how there are good noises and bad noises? And
yes.
There are things that register as nails on chalkboard and other things that, when I hear it, like, it will pull me out of a movie or TV show when I hear an incredible sound effect. I'm like, where do I get that? How do I download it?
Well, that's right. I should put the freaking Wilhelm scream on here. That'd be great. Just use that every once in a while.
I still find the Wilhelm scream in so many things, but people have started to either layer it in or make it like kind of quiet versus everything else, but I still hear it like pretty frequently.
It seems like it has to be in any movie. Oh, Mama KillCo's here. Mama, hello, welcome. I can't do that for her. That's just a little weird. So we have a guest, Sonny. Welcome. You've been here before, but to those who don't know you, please introduce yourself.
Oh, 1 sec. I need to give you another sound effect.
Okay. Oh, wait. Gonna explode.
Oh. Hello, hi. I'm Sonny, the Whiskey Tribe's executioner, aka producer / occasional community manager / whatever Rex does not want to be doing is my job. For the most part, that's kind of the most like comprehensive explanation I can give of what I do.
Multitasking.
Every week is relatively different, and that provides challenges. These days, I do more calls and messaging and coordinating than much else, which has been wonderful.
Sounds horrible.
Look, man, there's a difference between having the end product like live or die on your sweat versus coordinating with the people who have to do all the stuff. Oh, so much easier to just coordinate the people and just message back and forth than it is to do all the work. Okay, this is my first drink. We should launch very quickly into this. Happy Dry Week, Whiskey Tribe Dry Week. We take 1 week off abstaining from alcohol, sometimes more, just to reset our palates. Behind the scenes, genuinely, we actually end up doing more dry moments than people I think would expect, or good dry runs, just because of the way we batch content. And in particular, like Rex outside of work basically doesn't drink. Brianna very rarely drinks outside of work. Me and Kyle do things differently. But we are celebrating that with some NA brews, and this is my first jump into the Guinness Zero, which they say is less than 0.5%. And I'm very curious at how that will translate versus normal Guinness.
Yeah. YouTube's doing a thing already. I don't have to fix it. It's fine.
Okay, in some ways, that's much closer than I was expecting.
Right.
What's very strange about it is that it's almost, instead of an immediate note of bitter, I get a note of sour almost. That then kind of gets balanced out with the bitter afterwards. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's basically, you can get to a Guinness. There it is.
Yeah.
No, wait. There you go. I don't know if you've been hurt at all until now. I think so. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have.
It'd be funny if
There's
it'd be
no,
funnier if I hadn't been.
like I said, it's like I'm starting again. What do I have that muted for? Oh, because we can hear you and we don't need to hear you twice. Got it.
Sure.
That makes sense.
No, yeah, dude, live streaming is unenviable. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, it's I have this issue. It's going to stay the whole time because it is. Because I don't want to fix it. As long as we can be seen and heard, it's fine.
John McElwin, are you the same one from the Patreon? Because I feel like I read your comments on the Q&As relatively. I feel like I read your comments in Q&As relatively frequently, or at least comments on Patreon posts.
We have someone with tea. We have Sugar Kitty having tea. Read the name first, Brian. Let's talk to Mama KillCo. Mama KillCo is, guess what? My mom, obviously.
I would hope so, but with modern day internet, you can't always be so sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I have my Guinness set up too. I even have my glass. I brought it out just for the occasion. There it is.
Oh, that's wonderful looking.
I know.
I have always thought about stealing those whenever bars have the good Guinness pint glasses, but I've been good enough not to.
I have no idea where I got it. I assume I got it at a like a Savers, one of those like used stuff, and I was there. I have one. I have a few. I have that one. I have a Blue Moon one I bought recently. I think I have a couple beer thing glasses that I just don't even like, but I have them.
Essentially, all of my pint glasses come from Goodwills for $1.
Yeah.
I've gotten lucky and found a few Glencairns for 99 cents on a case. I found like 2 ever, but you know, you take what you get from the Goodwill lottery.
Mm-hmm. Now, how long? Wait, I'm trying to think. How long has Tribe been doing dry weeks? I think it's been.
Oh God, it feels like from the beginning. But I'm not confident enough to say that.
Yeah, and we have to slam into the whole crossing the streams of when it was Vault and when Tribe became a thing too.
Yeah, and I would have to. We have.
Grapes.
There is a Whiskey Vault playlist called Dry Week that has their earliest video in the playlist at 5 years ago.
Ooh.
That definitely does not mean that was the beginning of it either, though. But yeah, Dry Week feels like it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Sorry.
Sugar Kitty has a set of Guinness tulip shapes from the Bar Supply Company. They're great.
Damn.
It's funny you say that because I've often recommended to people to get a lot of their kitchen stuff from restaurant supply companies because you can find a lot of really good cheap stuff. And if you can find a warehouse near you, you don't need to buy in bulk to get a good discount because you're there. They don't need to ship it. Bar Supply, I would be very interested in touring one of those places.
Right.
Zen Boot, I ordered some Athletic Brewing Company direct online. First order came with a funky goblet-ish pint glass. That's hilarious. The people at Athletic have been doing an incredible job, not just in the product, because Athletic Brewing does some amazing work on their product, but their social media presence and how kind of far they're pushing the envelope and trying to like be huge on social media. I'm very happy with what they've been able to accomplish and what those guys are up to.
They were one of the first ones that got pushed in my general direction once people heard I was going alcohol free for a while.
Really?
Athletic, yeah, it was one of the first ones that came up. Like, oh, hey, Athletic Brewing. I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. What is it? And then I only recently did I even try one, and I don't even remember what the circumstances won. I think it might have been at Zen Boot's house or something, or apartment.
That's funny.
I'll tell Wi-Fi is wonky. Okay, Ma. Sweet dreams. Thanks for popping in.
Bar Supply often has closeouts where maybe they have 5 or some odd number of glasses you can buy for a whole lot cheap for the price. Sugar Kitty, that is a great pro tip because I think glasses are something that people end up stealing because they don't know where to get good ones. And I feel terrible because I was definitely a proponent of just taking things from restaurants, even though I worked in restaurants. But now that we have the tasting room, and people just will steal our like Wii Glens, the little guys.
What?
Oh my god. Oh dude, it's so annoying. We lost like 6 or 8 in a week, and the price of a Wii Glen is almost exactly the price of a normal one.
Did I tell Sonny about my non-alcoholic whiskey tasting experience? Taste versus label. Yeah, well, no.
Taste versus label info.
Yeah.
I'm curious what that means.
We were literally, they have it on the label. Let me see if I can grab one without hurting myself. I'm plugged into this. So this is the one I actually like out of like the 4 or 5 I have had. This one's called Liars. It's American malt, but they say right on it bourbon replacement, which is super annoying.
Liars. Yes, we have Liars. I think we just use that. That one looks like. I know Liars and I know Midnight.
I have another one showing up. They have like
I've only tried a little bit of them, and from what I tasted, I really felt like you had to do something else with it as opposed to trying to drink them neat.
Absolutely not. No. I am of the mindset of this is not a whiskey replacement. They're saying this is for like a cocktail or a mocktail in this case.
Yes, it is for trying to replace a whiskey drink in your life, not something. Yeah, and that's the thing.
I've seen people try it like that. I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. You know how it says on the label, make a drink? Do that.
Yeah. Somebody asked, I think on the just video we just did on NA cocktails, somebody asked, like, could you make a really good non-alcoholic whiskey? And the honest answer is I have no clue. I have no idea what would even go into it. And it would probably be leveraging a lot of the like rapid aging and botanical stuff that a lot of small distilleries are messing with. And I still am not confident that it would be worth the time or effort because we might just put out something completely subpar.
Yep. We got Athletic Brewing came out with an Irish Red online exclusive. What?
Okay,
well,
I'll tell Kyle. Sense. He'll get excited about that.
Right? Tall Weber glass? 9.
Weber.
11. So I said yes. 3x to that layer. Seconds. So I just threw them in. Oh, that's nice. It's like, oh, okay, I have all these now. Cool.
Yeah, I love crazy deals.
I think what I was doing was I was just reading off the label for what is on here. Like they have some of these with tasting notes on them. And I think I tried them first.
Yeah, what are the NA tasting notes? That's a great question. What do they put on that?
Right? I don't think this one has any. That was the weird part. I'm looking. I'm like, this is the one that doesn't have any. With modern alchemy and old world magic, a new era of spirit is born. Is that good?
That's close enough.
Well, you had the 74. One of the nice little talking points we have now is that you guys did a non-alcoholic video on the Tribe channel, and you had this guy.
Yes, Kentucky 74 and Midnight were combined into, I want to say, Ronnie called that one You'll Find Out, and he completely made it up.
No.
He completely. I thought that drink. I'm sure that drink was based off of something in reality, but the name was definitely on the fly for a You'll Find Out. That was one of the better ones. But I think I don't know if it came across in the actual episode, but the thing that I found most fascinating about that was adding the habanero simple syrup and something spicy with a little bit of kick to it.
Yeah.
That was such an interesting thing, and that was the only reason that like 3 of those drinks or 2 of those drinks were legitimately a toss-up. And don't get me wrong, you sit there, you taste it, you're gonna figure out which one has alcohol. But if you can get 90 to 95% of the way, I find that very impressive as something that can serve the same purpose.
Right. You know what I didn't do? Always got me something I forget, doesn't there? Quiet. Not that quiet.
Weissbier.
Weiss
is the pronunciation. Weissbier. That's much easier.
There's this one. You got the Ritual. I think you guys had the Ritual at a moment, but it wasn't the whiskey
We
one.
had the Ritual tequila, which was absolutely hilarious because Ronnie told me, he's like, look, the thing about this is that the Ritual tequila, if you smell it on its own, it smells like hot dog water. And I haven't been able to get that out of my head.
Why would you tell someone that when you're going to drink that? All right,
that was pre-production.
Here's one that has a little write-up on the back. All the oak, vanilla, caramel, and soul-warming heat of whiskey without the alcohol and calories from when you're drinking time. So they got 3 right there.
Yeah.
Natural botanicals, 12 weeks after opening. That's the funny part. Substitute 1-to-1. I kept looking at the actual ingredients. Like, that was my big curiosity. I'm like, all right, they're telling us it's this stuff, but they're being unbearably vague onto actually what's in here. We have this one, filtered water, cane sugar, natural flavors. That's a common one. Xanthan gum, citric acid, caramel color, sodium benzoate, and potassium sorbate as preservatives.
Xanthan gum's really interesting because it's usually used as a thickener.
Yeah, I don't like this one because there's actually, like, residue on the bottom. That grosses me out. That's like, what is that?
Which is funny because a lot of people will post in subreddits or Facebook groups, like right when they buy their first barrel proof or like uncut, unfiltered whiskeys. They'll be like, what is this at the bottom of this? And is it going to kill me? And it's just the wood and the char and the lack of filtration.
Yep.
So it's very funny when you have something that's not alcoholic, like, oh, wait, now this is concerning. What is that?
Yeah. A lot of them just start off with water. That's the hilarious part to me. I'm like, I bought a big bottle of water with some spices in it.
Yeah, John McElwain said it was some chemical glycerin or something. Yeah, you gotta just either choose to read or ignore the ingredients list at a certain point, because nothing. People will say, like, I don't want to ingest anything that I can't pronounce. Man, buy a bag of Doritos.
I got bad news.
Understand everything in there. Yeah. It's a lot of chemical compounds at a certain point.
Yep. I'm sorry if you can hear the dishwasher. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea to start before the stream.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I was like, because I need the dishes done. That's why I did it.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. Have your dishes done.
Right? We got this one. Wait, Sugar Kitty. Hot dog water.
Water and coffee in the glass. Water and coffee in the glass. Are we talking about?
Oh no,
Guinness
he's
again?
saying what he's drinking. I have the question mark of what is your dry week right now, and you got water and coffee.
Oh, that's you have like a pinned. Okay, I got you.
Xanthan gum, broccoli scrapings. We have water, glucose syrup, sugar, natural flavors, phosphate acid, cellulose gum.
Oh, that's good for you.
Preservative,
Well,
potassium sorbate, sativa, glucose. I can't read this. This is so tiny. I just had my eyes checked. I should be fine. That's really tiny print. But this is the one I like. But the one I like appreciate what they did, and even then I'm like, I appreciate this. I don't really understand it, but they did a thing because this one and this one, first ingredient's water. The 74, which I finished a bottle already. This one's actually the second one that was given to me. And this one says, no, that's not it. Oh, it's the small print, of course. Spiritless, non-alcoholic oak distillate.
Oak distillate.
Yeah, spiritless, non-alcoholic oak distillate. Then natural flavors. Then glycerin. There we go. Sugar, citric acid, then xanthan gum, sodium benzoate, preservative, potassium sorbate. Preservative. Very popular preservatives at the bottom there.
Yeah, which does make sense because once you strip the alcohol out of something, it's much harder to keep it from rotting over time.
Yep, they do have a time limit. That's kind of sad, but like whiskey, I can leave those there forever and they'll be fine. That's not 100% true, but I could. They'll exist long after me if things go haywire at some point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they absolutely will. Oh no.
I'm only sad with some of them because of when I had to stop. Some of them are very low. I had to get rid of
Sugar Kitty. I think Sugar Kitty's 100% correct based off this academic research article I just pulled up titled "Production of Xanthan Gum from Inedible Parts of Broccoli and Cauliflower."
Yeah, it's delicious.
I wonder if that means I get fiber out of something, including xanthan gum.
Oh, if only.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
Now
That's
these ones,
bonus.
I don't know if you guys seen these ones at all. We have the Naked Distillery, which I just like it because it's NKD.
I like that. I like the bottle shape.
It's got a good shape.
I like those like mortar-esque.
Yeah.
Drop it down a tube. Yeah.
I'm from locust beans. Okay, Sugar Kitty, you're giving me nightmares.
Sugar, we started this off by me saying, I don't want to read these things. I'm much happier not knowing.
And then we have the one that looks like it's from the 1930s. It's called KillCo. Why they decided to make something called KillCo that you're supposed to ingest, I'm not sure. What we got here? Water, natural flavors, glycerin, citric acid, potassium sorbate. Sound familiar?
Jeez, Jeez, yeah, it's all of them.
And which is the one that surprised me the most? Was it this one? No. No? Choose the other one. Spirit Alternative. Oh, why?
That is a solid label and bottle. I'm looking at their Amazon listing. Not just the Naked's phenomenal, but the KillCo, all of their series of products. I like the way they label.
Classy. You feel classy. I don't think I like this one at all, but it looks good. Oh no, I don't. Wow, that's a thing. Let me even
Good
think.
for hand-to-hand combat. Sugar Kitty, if you want some real nightmares, I can talk about some of the flavor chemistry from my clients. You really don't want to know.
Sugar Kitty's all about science.
Yeah, see, that's the side of things. Sometimes Kyle and Rex will dive into like flavor congeners and stuff, and the actual like chemical compounds and how you lead to vanillins.
That's like Daniel territory right there.
Yeah, no, I just don't even mess with it. It's wonderful to know that people care and that some of those people work for us and manage these things.
Those people
But at the same time, I have my own little niche carved out in my knowledge and function. And I don't need to get involved in the chemistry or science.
Yeah, I love the concept, like learning the science of taste and smell and all that. It's amazing. The human body is crazy. But if you start talking about too many big things for too long, it just kind of everything kind of goes away.
It's one of those things which is interesting because it's almost like don't find out how the sausage is made, which normally I'm all for finding out what goes into something. But once you break it down to like a molecular level and going into the science, it takes away because I feel like I'm back in biology class being made fun of by my teacher.
There you go. No therapy needed for that. See, Sugar Kitty's using big words.
Terpenols from my R-carvone and methyl silicates. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Sugar Kitty. I'm so glad you know that.
Oh, there you go. Have Kyle go nuts.
Remember to smack that like button. Yeah, smack that like button.
That's the Autobot.
John
Thank you, Stream Elements Autobot.
Yeah, I gotta bring that up too. It's important. Sonny, you and Kyle need to do a tribe show that deep dives the full nerd, science, yeast, etc., congeners, aromas. Dude, I sit there when he goes through these things, and I can understand the bigger ideas, and I'm great at the philosophy behind the stuff and the decision making. I'm good at dissecting his decision making because Kyle's such a fascinating person.
He's a peach.
Once he starts diving into some of those things, I don't understand the basics. It feels like math class where I missed the fundamentals of it. So now they handed me a new test and I'm missing all of it. Yeah. That being said, I have been trying to figure out a way to essentially just get a distillery Patreon podcast going where it would just be Kyle and Pena going through, because honestly, so much of the time they're doing really interesting stuff. We don't have time to stop everything and record it, or they'll send us a message and we're doing something else. So we miss some of these things, but having them sit there and talk it out would make things much more interesting for the understanding of what's going on week by week. The only downside is that Pena told me I would have to be there to host it and moderate the discussion, which makes sense because those two in a room together, just at each other's throats.
Oh, yes.
No, two of the biggest sweethearts I know. I love those guys so much.
Yeah, I've known Kyle for, well, I've interacted with him enough times and talked to him on occasion to that we have a rapport. You know, nothing like serious, but
well, that's the thing. And Rex always says this, but I picked up on it one of the third times I spoke to him, is that Kyle is one of the funniest human beings on the planet. He just doesn't want to be heard, but he'll just throw out these little darts. And I value comedy and humor out of people a ton. A big part of my background's in writing and understanding stand-ups and comedic writing. So when I listen to these little bits that Kyle's throwing out, he's whispering them to himself. I'm like, dude, this is S-tier comedy.
It's always quiet. He's a very soft-spoken man.
He's gotten better. He's gotten a lot better, I will say. And also, a decent amount of our interactions are or at least a good amount of the time I find him is when we go to the same bar after work and I just run into him.
Hey.
And if he's sitting at a bar, he's still doing work. Kyle never stops working. Kyle will message me at 9 p.m. with an idea.
Nice.
But he never stops working. He'll sit there with his laptop at a craft beer bar, just drinking and working. And then he starts to get loud. Then he pipes up.
It's got to be in a different environment.
Sugar Kitty, my clients sell those things. They're part of the whiskey flavors, mostly from rye. The pine notes, the mint or caraway, and the wintergreen. That is, okay, see, now that's really interesting. The best humor, if you're good at it, is to be straight 95% of the time, then 5% zingers totally hit like a jackhammer. Yeah, I think a part of that, too, is just not letting people know when the jokes are coming or if the jokes are coming, so it hits you like a surprise.
Whoa. There we go.
But yeah, man, I don't know. The dry week, I'm pretty excited for this. We have one of the most interesting things I think we'll be filming coming up tomorrow, which had me at a bar last night ordering whiskey to go because I couldn't source the bottles in time.
Oof.
So I got some double shots of Weller Antique 107 and Weller CYPB.
Why'd you say that? Why 107? You hurt me.
You know what's really terrible is that the CYPB was $20 for a 2-ounce pour, which at this point that is still a $500 to $600 bottle on the aftermarket. So to get those, it also, she was a very generous pour. Very. I'm not drinking right now, so she's pouring me these crazy things that I'm taking home and putting in sample bottles for the shoot. I'm like, what? Why today? Why is today the day? That
It's the test.
This?
It's the test has been presented to you. It's like, here you go.
No, really. It's really like right in front of me, and also just like buying alcohol that I'm so excited about without having the opportunity to taste or consume it. I'm like, okay. This is harder than I thought it would be.
And you just put it on a shelf behind you.
And it's true what they say, like it's the hardest addictions in a way to quit are alcohol and food because they're always around. Like you can kind of avoid cigarettes and nicotine to a certain degree, but you can't go sit down at a restaurant without having alcohol available. You can't.
What do you want to drink?
And if overeating is your problem, you can't just cut eating out of your life.
Nope.
You have to deal with that on its own with moderation.
Yeah. That was one of the first things I remember noticing with, like, when I'd stop for a dry week is how often and easily available alcohol is wherever you go as an adult. It's just there.
Yes. Well, and that's something we talked about in the differences between doing dry weeks and doing something like a dry January. A dry January is wonderful. It's good for people to do. No issue with it. But going through it like that in 30 days is proving something a little bit different, whereas frequent dry weeks, a big part of the purpose of it is the identification of habits and habitual behavior. Because the moment that something like starts to creep in and become problematic, a vast majority of the time is when you just stop thinking about it. When you just go through the motions, it's like, oh, I'm sitting down with my meal, so I have a drink. And Bill Burr has a great bit on this when Bill Burr stopped drinking because he was at home in COVID, and it started with 2 fingers of a glass of whiskey, then it went to 3 fingers of a glass of whiskey.
Man.
Then he's putting an ice cube in and filling the whiskey to the top. and his wife Mia is just looking at him like, Bill, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, honey, it's a house pour. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. Yeah.
And then you go to bed thinking about it, and you're like, that is 7 ounces in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
glass after the ice cube.
I felt real funny when I stood up after that. I don't know why.
Yeah, watching his old 70s MASH and all of his old television. No, it's those little identifiable markers of realizing like, oh, this is how it turns into a problem. This is how it becomes problematic.
Oh, yeah.
But also it's interesting working at a company where you end up consuming alcohol on a near daily basis but it's not drinking alcohol on a near daily basis.
It's just there.
Try this, sample this, try that, do this. And occasionally you do just end up sort of drinking because like the other day we were doing new cocktail recipes for the bar. So it was like 2 hours of cocktail trying and making slight variations. You will end up consuming a moderate amount by the end of a session like that.
All right, guys, these are great. I'll see you tomorrow.
These keep getting better.
Yeah.
But again, there's a big difference between, hey, we just made this new thing, let's have 5 of them, and take a sip of that, try a sip of this, try a sip of this, and the glasses behind the scenes being poured aren't even glasses. It's a, whoop, try that, whoop, try that. You
can
know,
always spit it out, but no one wants to.
Yeah, well, and I mean, honestly, too, like part of it, there are moments where we will fill glasses to a certain level, not because we're going to end up drinking that, but because if we just poured exactly how much we would be drinking from every glass, it would look really bad on camera, and we'd get a bunch of comments of like, that's not a pour, that's not a drink. So there's like a balance between where it's less than a real pour, but still enough that I can walk around the property and hand these things out after a shoot.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah, which I mean, look, being the liquor Santa Claus of like, hey, we just filmed, do you guys want something, is not the worst place to be.
No, I haven't been there for any of the shoots, but I know just being around in Fang and Feather, there's sometimes they're like, here, try this.
Yeah.
Or have you tried this one yet? Try that one.
Oh my God,
Nice.
Kyle especially, and
Oh, yes.
you know, Brian, I'll tell you anything. Yeah, Kyle especially. Kyle loves hanging out at Fang and Feather, like potentially on like a Friday night.
Oh yeah.
And if he's been cooking something, if he's been working on something, and he sees people he recognizes, he's handing out he's like, hey, try this. This isn't going to be out for 3 months. You need to try this.
Here, try this now. It's nice, especially since I'm only down there like once a year or twice, usually just once.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, everyone should be jealous of the people that can actually be at Fang relatively frequently, because the weird little opportunities and the things you get to taste and try just by being in proximity, they pop up, and it's a wonderful place. That Eleanor sherry cask that we put out a week or 2 ago, oh my God, I've been drinking that for like a month. And when we did our proofing samples for Discord, I took the extra ones home. And Kyle was going to take them from me. He's like, yeah, I was going to take these back and clean these out.
It's like, no.
I was like, no, you're not. No, you absolutely are not. This cask strength sherry finished bourbon is going home with me, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of this over the next 3 weeks.
I was very tempted by that one, but I'm like, you're not drinking. Stop.
You're not drinking. You don't need it. If you like a sherry bomb, oh my God.
I've become the thing I hate. I am now a collector. That's all. Just keep them.
Look, there's a purpose for collectors. I have a lot of love for collectors because they do fill an important part. The people I hate are the hoarders.
No.
The people who see a Weller on the shelf and buy 2 cases of antique that they're not going to go through in the next 5 years. Those are the people who cause the problems. If you're a solo collector and if you buy more than you drink, I don't personally have a problem with you, because that just means you have more to share with people.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to me. But again, like a lot of my history was just hosting drinking socials for people and pulling big groups of different parts of my life from different areas of work, and just be like, hey, everyone comes here, we hang out, I'm going to serve us rounds of these rare and interesting whiskeys, and we're going to listen to some great music.
Let's go.
That's a great night.
This is a good night. Make sure everything's still working properly. Like I said, earlier I was like, everything's working right. OBS has me on edge.
OBS always has me on edge. I use OBS probably 3 times a week. Not even for streaming, just for screen capping and recording stuff.
Yep.
And every time I'm still fiddling. I'm always fiddling with bits.
We got a bottle down somewhere. Zenbo, did you bottle down something? Or do I have a bottle down? This one needs to go. Makes me sad.
What is that one?
That's the Liars. This is the one out of all the
Oh,
ones
that's
that I
Liars, okay.
have. This is the one I like. That's why it's like this.
Yeah, your compression from my end completely fell apart. Like you're just a pixelated blob on my screen
Oh,
because
nice.
because all your bandwidth is going to streaming.
Yeah.
So I get a nice delay on it. But yeah, most of the things
Let me
you've
see.
held up, I cannot even sort of tell what they are.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's fine.
I promise I'm still here.
No, I believe you. Hey, as long as I can still hear you, I can still speak to you. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another whole interesting bit of wizardry to get things from there to here to here to there.
There, yeah, messing around with outputs.
Oop.
Ins and outs, man. It's all just ins and outs.
Copy, stop, and go. Yeah, I have a feeling I know what that is. Because OBS is stupid. They kind of started.
I do see some stuttering and catch-ups.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like starting and then starting again, and I know why, but I don't know how to fix it without shutting down everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So we're stuck with it being a little jumpy.
Again, if the audio's fine, I feel like you still end up with most of the experience. And I know it's not pixelated here because, yes, the clean feed that I have is the stream window where you look fantastic and I can actually tell the bottles that are behind you.
Right? It's quite a few. It make me sad.
It's a decent number.
It is. It's over 100. I know how much.
Oh, it's definitely over 100.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've gotten pretty decent at estimations by kind of doing the basic napkin math. And yeah, you have a hell of a store behind you.
Yeah, you surprised me with the wild turkey one. I was like, you can see that? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, the reason I can see the wild turkey specifically is because of that little 7-year or 70th anniversary, whatever that little break they put in there is completely different from every other wild turkey bottle, even though it's the 70, that little 70th with the italic cursives. Yep, that's no, I could spot that bottle from very far away, which is how I know I haven't found it yet on a shelf, is because I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you will find it because you know exactly what it looks like from a distance.
Yes. Yes. Definitely the two of you are trading off being frozen. Only one at a time going back and forth. That's particularly funny.
You're doing great.
That's
it's all right. We got, 20 minutes left? We got
20 minutes left.
I can tell you what it is, everyone. It's basically OBS decided to try to tell me to start twice. And I clicked one, and I was like, that's, And I clicked the other one, and now it's trying to stream twice. And it doesn't like that.
Okay.
And I don't know how to make it stop.
Yeah.
Without stopping all of it, which I don't
Now,
want.
that's very funny because there are a few games that have that issue. I want to say that Halo Infinite from Xbox Game Pass Edition specifically will let you run 2 instances of the game at the same time if you click play twice. And so your computer's fully running 2 separate instances of the game. And if your performance immediately falls apart, that's the easiest way to tell, is you're running the game twice.
I think I've done that with a couple things.
Yeah, OBS is easy with that. They try to give you a warning, but OBS gives me a lot of pop-ups, so I try to tend to ignore them.
It's because it's new. It's because it gives me a new option, which is now I can stream to 2 places at once. Technically.
Like multi-streaming?
I can stream to YouTube and I can stream to Twitch if I want to. And
really?
I tried
all with OBS?
All with OBS. It's new. It's like once I uninstalled OBS and reinstalled it, it has this new little, what do they call it? Dock that shows the option to multi-stream. And I tried it briefly a couple nights ago, and it's just I think my connection's too crap because I have the very basic cable because I can't afford real cable. And
you still have real cable? You watch television?
I don't. I mean, just like the internet connection. I have
I was
no
gonna
cable.
say, because the amount of cord cutters at this point is insane. Like the fact that cable still has a following is wild to me. And maybe I'm a little more personal on this because I deal with advertising revenue and advertising relationships. So when I see some of these shows have multi-million-dollar budgets, on a show that gets less views than a decent YouTube video. I'm like, yeah, guys, come on. Like, I know there are demographics. I know you need to play to audiences, but at the same time, it's like, wow, there's a lot of audience out there on the internet now. And a lot of people are still holding on to TV shows which don't get a ton of viewership.
Yeah, we went from that being the only way to consume entertainment to suddenly anyone can have entertainment and do it at any time to anywhere.
Yes. you need a cell phone.
We just switched the whole thing where it's like, no, you don't entertain us. We entertain ourselves, all of us. We just make this stuff and put it out there.
Yes, and it's interesting, too, because they've stopped measuring generic viewership. Like, you used to have Nielsen ratings for how many eyeballs saw something, and then everyone started ripping off YouTube in watch time and watch minutes.
Yep.
So now Netflix won't tell you that something got 100 million views. They'll tell you that it got 8 billion minutes watched of it, which you can't even translate to a real figure. Not really.
No. I'm getting so close to that ad revenue, it's disgusting.
Oh, God. Hey, good luck with it. It is such a random game on YouTube on AdSense.
It's just, for me, it's there. That's it.
Yes.
I get it, and it's there.
No, yeah. No.
Whether anything comes of it, I don't know.
No, there are a couple creators who run a podcast interviewing creators called Colin and Samir, and they talk about it a lot. Like, the magic of YouTube AdSense is that all you have to do is check a box and sign up for the service, and suddenly, no negotiating, no talking about anything. They set everything up. You just get a check. Even if it's an insignificant amount of money, that is magical. That is magic to just have that all happen on the back end without you.
Yep.
What's really crazy, though, especially working with larger channels and being able to peer into the behind the scenes on things, you'll get 2 videos that are virtually identical, get the same amount of views, and one will make $800 and one will make $80, and you have no explanation of why.
Ah, yes.
It's just so random.
Like, what did I do? Can I do that again? What happened?
How do I fix this?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? If you get worse results the second time. Yeah. No,
there's a lot of that on some of the Discord, the other whiskey channels. They don't talk too much anymore, but they are always kind of talking about not the algorithm, but little things like that, like what their viewer count was or how many likes they got and all that nonsense. I'm just like, I got some. That's the best.
Man, well, it's funny too because we had not last week's, but the week before's episode was that like behind the scenes of making a YouTube short and a conversation about whiskey reviews.
I was like writing stuff down. I was like, Rex, I'm an expert at this. I gotta do this.
And hey, don't get me wrong. Like, a big part of that was that this is about the goal that we're trying to achieve and kind of the way to go a little bit against the grain on the way that things have kind of turned into the very generic meta that's developed on whiskey.
YouTube will tell you what they want you to do. It's the weirdest thing. So like, talk about this at the beginning, then do this, then do this,
yes.
and do this.
Yes. And if you feel like something is boring, cut it out because your audience will. Like, all of the stuff is like very generic. But one of the comments that I thought was very funny was like, oh, just chasing after views. Like, what, like, kind of, but like, it's much deeper than that when you're a company whose job it is to create content, because it's like, how do we make as many people happy as possible at the same time? Yeah,
people who have the interest already. Like, they already have the interest. You got to make it so that they are not entertained, but engaged.
And how do you make a piece of content to attract people who aren't interested in it but will land in it anyways? I watch so much content that I have zero interest in ever pursuing the thing of. I watch woodworking content all the time. I don't own a single tool. Nope. I have a hammer still in the packaging. Still in the package the hammer came in. It came in a package. I have not opened it. But I watch these.
You need the scissors. You didn't buy the scissors first.
That's my problem. But I watch a lot of woodworking content because it's satisfying and it's something I'll never get into.
The art of the thumbnail. Oh, please don't get me started on that.
Sean McElwain, don't even get me started on it. Which I mean, I don't know how much behind the scenes people understand, but now as a YouTuber of a certain size, you get 3 thumbnails. They give you 3 thumbnails, and you get to A/B test them.
Yeah.
And you get to run a,
I thought that was pretty weird.
trial for a week. For a week.
How did this one work? Did you enjoy
all
it?
3 of them? Yes. And it translates it not just into how many people clicked the thumbnail, but how many people clicked the thumbnail and how long did they spend watching afterwards. They let you know all of that information to make your decision. Like,
it's
no,
too much.
There's science. It is too much. I agree.
Like I'm this everything here, everything we're doing. I just do this, and I don't know how to do any of it. And there's so much information that they're trying to shove at my face to make everything better and get a lot of clicks and get a lot of likes. And I'm just like, please, I want to make stuff and have people just hang out and enjoy being here. That's all.
Which is the most admirable way to approach things. And we also have these conversations of like, man, if this was one person making videos for themselves, you don't need to generate as much revenue or have as many views. Like, all of the people making completely solo content with very few costs, yeah, I do end up a little jealous. I do end up like, oh gosh, it would be really easy if you could just dick around for 45 minutes and get something out of it, as opposed to like a ton of planning and preparation and figuring out the packaging of the video. Woodworking and no hammer. Have you considered Lego content?
Nice.
Sugar Kitty, you have no idea. You have no idea. My original screen name, which was created for RuneScape when I was 8, had Lego in the title of it. Legos were my life for a long time.
Wow. I had Legos too. That was a long time ago. I don't remember much about it other than I had a lot.
I can't afford Legos these days.
No. That's a whole
Legos are so out of my price range.
That's like this kind of thing, except with Legos. You just get it, build them, put them on a shelf.
I've often told my girlfriend, like, hey, don't get me this. It's so irresponsible and really dumb. But if you were going to get me something irresponsible and really dumb, there's this like $400 Lego Hogwarts that I would spend.
Hogwarts, the Titanic. They have a bunch. There's another channel I'm thinking of immediately as soon as we start talking Legos. Scotch Down Under with Kin. He's big on like having a whole bunch of Lego sets, and he does live streams about him putting it together. He has the Titanic one. That's what came to mind.
See, those are interesting to me because I also think about the meta of Legos, and a lot of the biggest sets are some of the most repetitious sets where you end up building the same like chunk 13 times and then piecing it all together. So to me, I try to find the things, if I'm going to waste money and just light it on fire, I try to find the things that have a lot of diversity in it, so you're not just doing pattern, put them all together. Sugar Kitty, no money for the $1,200 Titanic Lego. Is that the real price?
I think it is. I can't say for sure. But I know Ken has it.
You exaggerators. $680 from Lego Top.
Damn, we almost got you.
Oh my. Do you want to make Rent, or do you want to make a plastic boat?
Just break it in half whenever you feel like it.
That's so wild. No, I would love, you will find out. Everyone will know when I start making a lot of money, if that day ever comes, because there will be Lego sets in every background.
There you go. You'll just have your background will be Legos. You'll have built a background out of Legos.
Oh, or just Patreon content. Like, hey, we're building a Lego set today because I don't want to do real work and I want to justify.
Hey, that's work. You're engaging with the community. That's work.
That's all work.
There we go.
That's all work.
Because they're all my emotes. There's a silly face I'm making, and there's my Psalm thing. Ooh, I'm a Psalm.
Oh, it's the Psalm medallion. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah. It just looks like a gold coin when it's like that. Like, it's tiny, it's gold. Actually, it's not. I think it's brass. It's heavy.
At least, oh my God. Sugar Kitty, yes. As he mentioned, we know someone who did that, but at the time when it first came out, at least in Australia, it was $1,200. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still $1,200 in Australia.
Four-leaf hello.
They do terrible things to you guys down under.
Have we talked? I feel like we've talked about what is it, Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or something that's not 40%.
Oh,
it's
that
less.
gets the export version.
Yeah, they get the one that's like 38 or something. Sugar Kitty knows. I'm trying to remember what it was though. I feel like
I was thinking about electronic prices because I'm big in the PC communities and seeing what some of I don't actually know if it's tariffs or if it's import-export fees that people just tack on, but it's more than double the price sometimes.
Bleh. Four Leaf's another whiskey channel.
Whiskey, cheers to you.
Yeah, if you like, it's funny that we're finishing our Guinnesses here. Guess what we had? Guinness Zero.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're so
Guinness
sober.
Zero for 4 Leaf.
Did you get to try the Atlantic yet? I know Kyle was like big on you trying that.
Trying what?
Athletic. I keep saying Atlantic.
Yes. The Athletic IPA I have tried, and I do get it. What's interesting is I feel like it is lacking some amount of body.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
There is like it goes down like water, but tastes a lot like an IPA, and that is like very weird for me.
It is. I found a lot of the non-alcoholic stuff can be kind of watery.
Lego Whiskey Tribe for April Fool's episode, John McElwain. Man, we have so many good April Fool's episodes, but we only get it once a year. We have so many good concepts for it. I do want to make some of those happen, even if they're Patreon only.
Do it.
22 days until St. Patrick's Day, 4 Leaf. We've been thinking about I'm thinking about doing a new like Irish whiskey tier list or something for St. Patrick's Day, something other than just like turning cocktails green, because I feel like I think I just want an excuse to go spend $300 on Irish whiskey and drink a bunch of Redbreast, if I'm being
exactly. Four Leaf knows. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, just add seaweed to everything. It's green now. Enjoy.
And it's healthy-ish.
Yeah.
Minimum in Australia is 70 proof instead of 80. So Jim Beam White Label is 70 proof. Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, they can't do that to you.
They can in Australia apparently. Pretty awful.
4 Leaf whiskey Guinness Zero is great. Had it many times. Yeah, I'm very happy with none of the 0% beers I've had have been that bad though. It's the straight liquor variants of things where again, like it's meant to be an ingredient. It's meant to be incorporated. You're not supposed to drink it neat.
Yeah,
so I understand.
It was never made for that.
Yeah, so don't treat it that way.
Yeah. Just treat it like the bottle says. It's used for cocktails or mocktails.
Plus, the amount of alcohol tax is huge in Australia. So per bottle, the tax is like $40 to $50. Wow. Even in kangaroo dollars, that's going to take a massive hit. And look, I love everything I've heard about Australia. I would love to make it to Australia. But a lot of what I hear is about taxes and gambling, which is a weird combination to hear about Australia. But you are some of the best people I've ran into and interacted with, even though you can't stop saying a word we're not even allowed to say here. Apparently.
Begins with a C, everyone. You might know.
John McElwain, go to an Irish embassy, drink there. What do Irish drink? Do we have an Irish embassy? Is this a real thing?
I hope so. Four Leaf, do we?
Oh, I think we do.
Four Leaf is the person you want to go talk to if you want any Irish whiskey stuff. She knows
Ireland's
it all.
Consulate in Austin.
They have one in Austin?
Oh my God.
You guys have a road trip.
The Consulate General of Ireland is in Austin. I've also come to find out, and this is true, that Austin has very loose public consumption of alcohol laws.
Yes,
in many places, you're allowed to drink on the street in Austin.
Yep. I found that out. I was like, really? I found out in Missouri. Like, Missouri was another place where you can just walk around with a drink in hand. It felt really weird walking on the sidewalk with like a beer in my hand.
Not just that. In Missouri, they allow open containers in the car as long as you are not the driver.
My friend lives
so
there.
Every time, yes, I have a brother in Missouri, and every time we go there, he's like, yeah, grab some road sodas. And we just take beers in the car minus the driver.
Road sodas.
And it feels so dirty every time. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I know it's legal. I'm going to participate, but it doesn't feel good while I'm doing it.
Like, I feel like I'm going to go to jail. It's weird.
It's like, and especially maybe the generation I grew up with, but it's like driving without a seatbelt feels weird and bad.
Whoa.
Driving with alcohol in the car feels weird and bad.
I did that with I don't know if it was. It had to be a few years after 2020 because, but you could get takeout alcoholic drinks. So it's like a thing now. And I took one, and it was like a one of those milkshake looking things. It's got a vodka in it, but it looks like a freaking milkshake. And I got one of those. I put it in my car, and I was driving, and part of me wanted to grab it and drink some of it until I realized that, wait, there's alcohol in that. What am I doing?
Yes, because it's just in your cup holder. Yes, when I took those Wellers home, last night, I put them in the back seat in my like console cup holder in the back seat, so I just didn't think about them.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. Also, they gave them to me in styrofoam cups, and I was like, I need to get home fast because I think that 90 proof is going to melt the stuff. The longer I keep these, the more tainted this Weller's going to become.
Yeah, a little.
Invite consulate person to tribe episode. John McElwain, I'm a producer. You have to understand. The problem is, I'm not going to end up doing that because they're not going to say yes to it. I'm going to find somebody to pretend to be from the Irish consulate.
Find someone with an accent. You're good.
Find someone with an accent to have them lie a little bit.
I'm looking at these. Clan of Kilt is really good. Killing 2 stacks. JJ Quarry.
Yeah, I was looking at. Yeah. Okay, so these are what I need to dive into because the only thing, actually, 4-leaf, if you know, because I've heard this and I don't know this. Is it true that base level Tullamore Dew has grain neutral spirit in it, or is that not true? Because I feel like I've gotten wild hangovers from Tullamore Dew, but that could also just because the nights that I have Tullamore, it's an easy drinker. You pass that bottle around.
I'm an instigator with phone skills. John McGowan, stop.
Man, look. Me too. This is so much of the time I spend is spent on the phone with people or emailing people, which is awesome because most of the time it starts off with like, yeah, they're probably not going to go for that. And if you go into things with the mentality that you're not going to get what you want and then you turn it around, oh, it feels so good every single time when somebody agrees to something, which is also why I have a policy of saying yes. It's grain whiskey, not grain neutral, but it could be very young. Yeah, that might. Again, it could just have to do with the evenings that I pull Tullamore Dew, or the evenings where I'm like, look, I'm going to be sitting around with mainly musicians. I find myself drinking Tullamore Dew with musicians a lot. Just passing around a bottle and having a good evening. It leads to its own style of hangovers for sure.
And someone's going to start singing or playing an instrument.
You can only allow them to do that if they're really good. Yeah. And even like, look, I'm not throwing shade at anyone out there that I've worked with in the past. I have only met a couple people in my life who I'm really happy if they pull out a guitar and start singing. And I've worked with some sessions musicians where I'm like, hey, maybe we just stick to the thing you're good at. I love Tully because they use wolfhounds in their ads. I love Tully because Tullamore Dew 12-year is a 12-year-old age-stated Irish whiskey finished in sherry casks that comes in a slidey-style box for under $50. And that makes it one of the greatest gift whiskeys you could ever give to somebody.
Right.
Because it's cheap enough you don't feel bad, and you can hand it to somebody and they're like, holy crap, this is really nice. Thank you so much. It is a cheat code for gifts.
I think I did that with myself with Jameson 18-year.
Oh, the Jameson 18-year. The Jameson 18-year wood box and bottle style is so nice. Look for the Tullamore Dew Phoenix. It's discontinued. Oh, you got me at discontinued. Okay. Discontinued whiskey is like my mainstay. That's where I always want to be. $250. That feels expensive. Let's add that to cart.
Oh well.
What are the specs on this?
I think we're like, yes, non-alcoholic stuff. Wait about with the whiskey. What are we doing?
man, look.
It's a whiskey channel. Don't worry.
For me, it's a week.
It
All
is.
Right, before I get out of here, Brian, give me an update on you. How's your non-alcoholic journey going? Where are you at?
I'm lucky because it wasn't hard. I've told people the easiest way in my head to explain it is, okay, don't jump through that window. That's where it is. That's where it is for me. It wasn't. There was no like serious difficulties. I didn't have any withdrawals, anything like that. There was no major problem. I'm very fortunate that was the case Because
Yeah.
at the beginning, I was wondering, like, I don't know. I've never tested it. And now I have. And it's easy once you get started for long enough.
Are you still at 0 forever at the moment? That is your mindset and mentality, or is there a point in time where you're going to get yourself retested?
There is another fibroscan fibroscan means just scanning of the liver.
Sure.
That will happen in August. So it'll be a full year since I got my first one, and they're like, you should probably stop. Just so it gets better, so it heals. Otherwise, it could get worse. And scarring of the liver is a very scary thing to hear from your doctor.
No kidding.
But it's the mindset is, okay, I love whiskey enough to stop, and hopefully come back to it. But if not, I'm still part of the community. I still have plenty of whiskey to share with other people. I'm still a whiskey somm. I still want to have the ability to bring people into whiskey in a healthy manner, and keep people, at least be the guy who's like, hey, check. I had to stop. I want to make sure everyone's okay. I don't want anyone to have a problem that's not showing up, because I had to get a lot of blood work to find out I had a fatty liver to begin with.
Yeah. Well, and I've made this argument with a ton of things, but with alcohol, it is ever present. But abstinence makes the heart grow fonder. The less time you have with something, going back to it, it's so nice. It's
I can only hope.
Sweet.
And I'm still able to taste stuff. I've done a few tastings where I just taste it and spit it out. It's not like it's completely not allowed even in my presence kind of thing. That would be hard to do. But I still am able to actually taste it. I just don't consume it. I don't actively drink it.
No, and I think the first time we talked, we had the conversation too, where even when my collection was 1/8 of what's behind you, I had people in my life tell me like, dude, I could never be around that much whiskey. I could never. I would just end up drinking a lot of it. Like, hey, that actually might be a warning. That might be a red flag.
Why? Yeah.
If you can't buy, especially when you're considering that most of these are more than $45, most of these are around $60 to $80. If you can't stop yourself, you're going to be drunk and broke faster than you understand.
Yeah. It's like eventually you're just going to be out there with a bottle in a bag, and that's bad. I do know that the first drink I'm going to have, if and or when I can, we'll say when. For whatever reason, I remember exactly what the last whiskey I drank was before I had to stop. Yeah, it's weird. And it's something I poured that I don't usually pour on impulse. And it is a Bourbon 14. It is sitting right there.
Bourbon 14.
So I think the first one I'm going to drink when I get the good word, which again, let's hope we will, is
Fingers
that
crossed. Yeah, I'm rooting for your liver.
Yeah. I think it can make a comeback.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a plan. Let me know. I will source some Bourbon 14 if and when you are able to drink again. That sounds like a lovely evening.
I will be. I hope so. I can taste it right now. Let me smell the bottle. No.
Well, look, and let's not get presumptuous or anything, but if we are talking about August, for example, hypothetically, if you got some good news, Bastard's Ball is in October, so I'm just throwing those things out.
I'm aware. I usually end up going.
Yep, it's and look, I'm sure you can have a wonderful time not drinking and
I did,
just being
I
there.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you go last year?
Yeah, the last year. I went last year, and I don't think I consumed anything.
Which, look, the people will get you through it by just having a great time with good people.
Yeah, I had a good time. I got to talk with Irene and down there, which is always fun. She's I told you already, she lives nearby, so I can go there anytime I want for any tasting.
Yeah.
I can still just spit it out.
Yeah. No.
And I can go to the whiskey vault, which is a big thing. I can just go up there and smell and taste and spit out anything. But there's a little like bit of pain when you don't actually drink it. It's weird.
No, that's exactly what I'm thinking, is the level of just almost respect for yourself required to be able to taste and follow through is something that you do have to think about and work on. You can't take that for granted, because you sitting in the lion's den, if you're entering the whiskey vault, try not to drink.
I did get to try something really nice last time I was there. So that was like the the thing I was going to do. Is like, all right, I'm not really going to drink anything. I might smell, maybe taste something and spit it out. But I was like, there's one something or other that's going to be really hard that I get and I can't try anywhere else. And I found it there. And I think it was a Redbreast Dream Cask.
Dream Cask.
And I had a little bit of that and sipped it and spit it out. And was like, that hurt, but it tasted so good.
Oh, God, dude. 27 is still one of, if not the best pour I've ever had. And my heart will always be an American. I love bourbon. I love rye. But I know Redbreast is overpriced. I know. But Redbreast 27 is just almost the perfect balance.
Yep.
And yeah, that's hard to let go of.
Yeah, I just finished the bottle I got a while ago, but it was because I was sending out samples, so that felt good.
Yeah, I saw your It's Raining Men post. I think you posted that in the
Everyone's like, ah.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Well,
funny.
I'd also drank it like pretty recently, or right after seeing that, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
That hurts.
But I didn't buy it. It was a gift, and that's the biggest reason for sharing it. It was like that.
Yeah.
Someone gave that to me, and I was like, God damn, this is. Never thought that would happen.
No, so it's 100%. Yeah. Especially when somebody gives you something, it's meant to be a gift.
Oh,
it's meant to, But whiskey's meant to be shared.
Exactly.
It's the whole reason we get into this. The social experiences and the people you meet and the rooms you get to sit in and the conversations you get to have. Like that. At the core of it, whether you're drinking or not, that is what 100% of this is about. And as long as you can still be in the room, you can still have a great time.
Yeah, and the bottom line now is we are in a time period where all these non-alcoholic options are available. Like all these bottles I have are a fairly new thing, and I just happen to slip into it just by coincidence and like my own health. I feel lucky that that's the time I did it. It's happening now.
I do hazard a guess that the next 5 years, even, like, we're still in the infancy of what NAs are going to end up being. I have an idea that in the next 5 years, we're going to see some really aggressive development in NAs and what gets put out there. So, no, I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Yep.
All right, I need to hop off for the evening.
Thank you for joining me.
Pleasure as always. Of course.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
Yeah, let me know. I'm easy.
Yeah.
I'm flexible in my timing. I'm always happy to spend some time with people in the community.
The core being place and people in some cases. Yeah.
The core being place and people in some cases. Yeah, some cases are correct. Some people suck. You're right, Johnny Kelwayne.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but thank you, Johnny.
Well, hey, look. For every 5 great people you meet in whiskey, you meet one person who has more money than you ever will and just throws things out there. You're like, you do subtract from the rooms you're in. I see that of you. It was worse when I was bartending. Being in this community, every person I talked to was so nice, and so generous, and so sweet. By virtue of them being here, they're just great people.
And they're happy to be there.
But when you're pouring people $1,000 bottles and they're just drinking more than you pay in rent in an evening, you do meet a couple not of the best people.
Yeah. My brother has to
all right, but yeah, man, let's do this again soon. Let me know. I'm always available for you.
Yes, sir.
Have a great evening, folks.
You too. Until next time.
I will see you soon.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Whiskey Tribe. I love you.
I had the intro on. Well, that was lovely. Make sure everything's functional. There we go. All right. We did it. The stream is still being weird, but thank you everyone for being here. I'm going to log off, maybe make myself another mocktail, maybe using this. I actually will announce that I have more of this showing up. I finally kind of bit the bullet and spent... Well, there was a generous donator to the channel recently, and I thought, well, what should I do? And part of that was get another bottle of these, not this one specifically, but there's another option they have that I wanted to try, do a live stream on, and I also decided to order some of their canned cocktails, or mocktails, and try those out, because why not? Sounds pretty good. Thank you all for being here. I will be back soon. Gaming streams are a must. We may slip into another game soon. I mentioned that in the podcast. Don't forget, you can become a patron on Patreon, and you can also become a channel member if you want. It helps me out tremendously. It helps me do this and feel good and get by and just enjoy life a little bit. It's kind of nice. Thanks to all of you. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I will see you out there. Special thanks to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.